man, I'm not even in the. I wasn't in the. I didn't have it. Here we go. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's last night's coffee. Nah, crap, I did it wrong. Greetings, Earthlings and locally hated CrossFitters. It's episode 160 of last night's coffee. I'm Chuck, that's John, and I've got sunglasses on.
Bingo. We both do. I always do.
It's weird when you can't see your eyes.
I like it, right?
Right.
I kind of like it. That's why I always wear them. I like the fact that the audience doesn't know where I'm looking.
I can't see my eyes, and I don't know what I'm thinking about.
That makes no sense.
It don't. It don't. But when I look at the camera, I can't follow me.
You're hilarious, man.
Dude, I got up way too early.
Yeah.
I went to bed way too early. We had Labor Day off.
Yes.
I had to work Sunday night, but we had Labor Day off. So I still only got a 3-day work week.
Yeah. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good. I'm trying out a new microphone for Charlie.
Yep.
It's working pretty good.
I like the way it sounds. All right. Can you hear yourself in your headphones yet?
That's a negative.
Okay.
So I'm just trying not to think about that.
Okay.
The weekend, dude, I'm going to change our order a little bit because my weekend consisted of a lot of football.
Okay.
And I don't want to get into that on the football wrap up. Now, my holiday, I went to Providence Canyon.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second, man. You went to one of the great wonders of Georgia.
One of Georgia's 7 wonders.
Yeah.
It is not natural.
It is not natural. That's correct.
It was caused by poor farming practices of the 1830s.
Yeah. Well, I think that's evidence all over Georgia, right? There's evidence of that, not to that scale, obviously,
Right.
but there's evidence of poor farming all over Georgia. Like you and I should not have red dirt clay in our backyards.
Right.
We shouldn't have red clay. We should have soil back there, but we don't because of all the farming practices.
Right. Now,
so,
I have terraces in my yard, in my property.
Do you really?
Along with the cemetery.
Man-made terraces?
Yeah.
Not like naturally kind of.
No, you could tell they're man-made.
Yeah.
Especially if you get back and behind Dad's house, it's like stair steps.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Yeah. Interesting.
It's big stair steps, but it's big stair steps.
Yeah. I did know that little bit of information. It is man-made. And to think that all of that happened that quickly.
And that's why it didn't get national park status. Only got state park status.
So they'll only do it for natural wonders.
Evidently so.
Fascinating.
I did some research on it before I went because I'm a nerd like that. I like to know where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
But we had fun. Now I about died. I almost died 3 times.
3 times?
3 times.
Man, you're like a cat down there in the little Grand Canyon. What happened?
I had to walk down a long path to get there.
Okay.
So you had to go downhill, and it's a little like switchback path to get to the bottom of the valley.
Yeah.
That was rough, but I had a walking stick.
Okay.
I should have brought my walking stick, but I went in the little visitor centers before, and I'm like, I'm buying me a walking stick.
Okay.
So I have a walking stick now. I like it. I felt grandpa-ish with it. All the grandpas had walking sticks.
Sure.
There was a lot of grandpas a lot older than me doing a lot better than me. And that bothered me.
Well,
I mean, they were smiling.
They were happy to be there.
They were happy. They're like, I made it.
Yeah.
I was not. Yeah. Now, the second time I died there was a cave.
Okay.
I went in it.
Okay.
And Mary Beth made me stay in there long enough to take a picture.
And that's almost dying.
It's very tight.
How tight? How tight was this cave?
It was probably a good 6 foot around. I probably couldn't touch both sides.
Okay.
And it wasn't deep. It was probably only 6 foot deep. But you had to go through a little. You had to go through a little crevice to get in there.
Oh, you didn't like that crevice.
I did not like the crevice.
Yeah.
And it was a wide enough crevice. I didn't like have to rub to go in it.
Yeah.
I don't like tight spaces like that.
Yeah.
And,
I get it. I get it.
It was fun though. Charlie climbed about halfway out once we got, he's like, well, there wasn't a sign that said no climbing right there. I'm like, Charlie, I think they mean it everywhere. I mean, I understand that technically there was not a climbing sign where you climbed, but
yeah,
there is no climbing.
Yeah. Well, people do all kinds of wild stuff at state parks and national parks. Like,
I do have a bone to pick with the singer-songwriter Brett Cobb.
Okay.
He said in his song Providence Canyon, you get the matches, I'll get the cooler. And they're going to go down there and have a bonfire.
Okay.
Just chill out in the canyon.
Okay.
He didn't carry that canyon. He didn't carry that cooler back out.
You don't think so?
Heck no. Heck no. There had to be dude coming back out was horrible.
If you're drunk after a bonfire?
After a bonfire, you've been sitting down there, partaking.
Yeah.
That cooler's still down there somewhere. Now, I would like to get down there and explore some more because I didn't find the old cars.
Yeah.
And I know there's some old cars down there. So
yeah, they're supposed to be, right?
Yeah, but there's nothing. Dude, that place is so far away.
Yeah, there's nothing out there.
At one point, that was the 9th most populated county in the state.
Whoa.
Now it's the 7th least populated county in the state.
No way.
Yeah. They have a school.
Hey.
I kid you not. We went, Charlie's like, where do they go to school around here? So we're looking for a school, right?
Yeah.
We go past, it says, it was Stewart County Educational Complex. So it was the gym. I guess the football field was probably behind it.
Yeah.
If they have a football team, the elementary, high school, preschool, and middle school is all boom right there.
All of it.
Yes, they have a school.
Man, that's small town Georgia right there, buddy.
Yeah. So the third time I almost died was coming back out. I survived. I got my cardio in for the year.
How bad was it? How far was the walk?
Oh, for the zigzag path?
Yeah.
That was so rough, a quarter mile.
It was a quarter mile.
Yes.
Steep?
It wasn't flat.
Of course, you're hiking to the bottom of a canyon, right?
Your three switchbacks going up about 150 feet.
Okay.
They should put a tram in.
A tram?
Yes. They've got, they could make that area because there's nothing out there, right?
Yeah, nothing.
We want a casino in the state, right?
Uh-huh.
Put it out there. Put it out there. You're close enough to Columbus where the people from Fort Bragg or whatever fort is it? What fort is that?
No, Fort Bragg's North Carolina. What
do they call it now? Benning. Do they still call it Benning or did they change the name?
I don't know. Let's call it Fort Benning.
Okay, you're close enough to where you can get all those guys from Fort Benning come down there and spend their paycheck.
Yeah. Warner Robins, the Air Force Base.
You're about 2 hours. You're about an hour and a half, 2 hours from Warner Robins. I mean,
you telling me a soldier wouldn't drive that?
He would drive that, definitely. You're far enough. We could probably put them on buses and just take them. You're far enough out of Atlanta to where You know, there's not. It says it's the 7th least populated town in or county.
Yeah.
There's nobody that's gonna be like, well, it's gonna bring prostitution. It's gonna bring 5 more people to town. Y'all only got 20.
Yeah. 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 No one's going to stay there. It would just bring a lot of revenue. Right.
And then they could put a ski lift down to the bottom of it. Okay. So I could go down. Or if they wanted to make it better, they could make it where you go out and then down, so you could get a bird's eye view.
Yeah.
And then, you know, kind of make it U-shaped. So you're going out, around, and then back down.
Sure. Be even cooler than Stone Mountains.
It would be even cooler than Stone Mountains because they don't have any controversial carvings.
Or controversial Native American ancient sites at the top of the mountain that were dismantled.
Well, they, you know, anything that was ancient anything that was Native American in that area is gone. It's got plowed under, washed away.
The whole state of Georgia was covered in like miniature mounds, if not bigger mounds. The whole state. I mean, we talked about your buddy Kyle Cobb, the author. We talked with him about that. Spalding County was covered in mounds when it was first settled. And these were all plowed and farmed over. Like you would never know that now.
Yeah. Now, look, speaking of Kyle Cobb, we are trying to get another person on this, another local-ish historian on the show. But what I need y'all to do is go to Sidestepping History on YouTube and comment on here and tell him to check his email. Because I sent him an email.
Did you send him an email or a message?
I sent both.
Okay.
So
we're trying to get in touch with you, dude. We love your channel.
Sidestep with
that. What was that episode we were just watching? Where was he? He was right by the Flint River.
He was
in that area.
It was
the Cove.
The Cove and the Indian Grave Mountain and all that.
Yeah.
He did one on the Sunshine House, and I got to talk to him about the Sunshine House or Sunrise House, excuse me. We actually went by it yesterday.
Really?
Yes, off Po Biddy Road.
Okay.
But, I had always heard that. So it's a real old plantation that had this sunrise on the front. And I had always heard that after they ran the Dixie Mafia out of Phoenix City and Columbus, that they went there and opened up a brothel. But he didn't talk about that part. So I want to ask him if he's ever heard that.
Interesting. Well, yeah, I mean, those people, all of that shenanigans in Phoenix City had to go somewhere.
Yeah, it got like when they stomped it out there, it was like busting a spider egg.
Yeah.
You know, some of it went to Rome, some of it went everywhere.
Right.
Fitzgerald is a big part of it. But anyway, we're just getting off topic now.
Yeah, let's get back to Sidestep.
Sidestep. Y'all go on there, talk to him. All 5 of you go blow him up.
Yeah. Isn't it Sidestep Adventures, I think, is the
Sidestep? He's got 2. He's got that and something about old farm. Okay.
Sorry.
He's pretty inter.
Should be pretty inter.
Yeah, let me just pull him up. Just so we can get all his stuff right.
Well, he seems to be into a lot of the same history that you and I are, right? Which is super localized history. We find it way more fascinating to learn about where we grew up.
Yeah.
And so what happened here within the last couple hundred years and within the last couple thousand years too.
Yeah. The official name is Sidestep Adventures into History.
Okay.
Yeah. And his other page is the Old Bird with a Y Farm.
Okay. The Old Bird.
That's about his house that he's bought and is restoring.
Okay. Fascinating. So, I wonder where that's at.
Waverly Hall area.
Okay.
Yeah. And all these areas that are what, like when we'd go to Panama City back in the day, is the areas you drive through.
Sure.
So
all them back roads, man. I love that drive down to Panama City, going through
Dude,
the country of Georgia.
So don't you go down 27 on this side of Columbus when you go down that way?
So I'm actually on the interstate through Columbus because I live right on 85.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we jumped on 27 where it's 4-lane. I'd never been down there that way before.
Mhm.
It was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I
Very
get off at Columbus, and I can't
Okay.
remember what highway that is, but I get off at literally at the Columbus exit and go behind the fort and all that.
Okay.
Um,
I've heard a lot of people taking that route. I haven't ever been that route. What'd you do
it's
this weekend?
super country.
Yeah, there's no gas stations.
No, there's like one stop, and it's a BP,
Yeah.
and then it has a liquor store right next to it, and
Oh.
it's the same attendant for both.
Oh, he's got like he goes through the wall.
No. It's literally a separate building.
Oh wow! So you had to be like, "Hey man, I want some Jaeger."
Yeah,
And he
you
goes,
guys gotta walk
"Okay."
over to the liquor store.
So we used to have one in Griffin that was a liquor store and a gas station together, but they couldn't be in the same. They wasn't the same. So they had a window in the liquor store or a pass through where they could go work that counter if they needed.
Oh gosh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. You gotta love it, man. I love the ingenuity behind gas station owners.
It's so weird that in the state of Georgia, you can't buy your liquor where you buy everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, like you go to Walmart in Louisiana and there's a whole shelf of Jack Daniels in the store.
In the store.
And, you know, and it's not a big, but here, by golly, you can't let that kid see it. He'll become an alcoholic.
Dude, my county was a dry county until like last year.
Wow.
I had 0 liquor stores in my county until I think
I knew that.
Literally last year they've only allowed, I think, 3 liquor stores in town now.
Yeah,
like
because that's why we got that one out by Huckabee's.
That's right, because that's technically Coweta, right?
Or Spalding on that side of the Lion Creek.
Right. That's technically Spalding.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Speaking of Huckabee's and the weekend, I got some steaks from Huckabee's.
How were they?
Magnificent.
Yeah. Were they local?
I guess they get their meat local. I'm not sure where they get it, but it was better in a grocery store.
Was it? Yeah.
And the prices were decent.
That's good.
They've got some big old thick filet. I got ribeyes, but they got filet mignon.
Mm-hmm.
A 3-pack for like $30.
Oh, that's pretty cheap.
This thick and that big around.
So you could cut them in half and still have a decent steak.
Yeah. Well, why would you?
But why would you?
You know what I'm saying?
I heard that because I'm poor and cheap. You know what I mean? Well, I have that poor mentality anyway.
Well, ain't nobody cheaper than me. And so it was cheaper to do that than go to the steakhouse and buy 3 ribeyes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely. Did they have any venison out there at Huckabee's?
No venison.
Okay. I was wondering if they had any of them leftover deer they were trying to sell.
And I'm not a fan of their sausage. Like their bacon's good, but their sausage has got too much sage in it. I mean, there ain't a demon getting within 10 feet of that stuff.
I heard that, man.
You cook some of that in your house, and all the spirits are gone. You know, they all.
You heard it here on last night's coffee.
Probably your neighbor's house too. There's a lot of sage in that stuff.
Huckabee sausage will clean your house out.
But that's just my opinion. Some people like it.
Yeah.
What else? Let's see. I worked on that toter.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Had Charlie Weldon. I had Dad working.
Man.
And I was like, at one point I was like, I'm just supervising. This ain't right.
It was a family affair.
Because they're both doing it for free.
Charlie does get something.
Yeah, Charlie does get some out of it, but
yeah.
True.
True. Well, shout out to them for helping, man. That's awesome.
I went to Walmart.
Did you see any like people of Walmart? Did you see the monk?
I did not see the monk, but let me tell you, this week's episode is called Full Metal Grandpa.
Yes.
Because I bought my most grandpa purchase to date, but I still like listening to rock and roll. So let me show you my.
Oh no, you didn't. You did go Full Metal Grandpa on us, dude. Okay, so now you're telling me you bought a walking stick and clip-on sunglasses in the same weekend.
That's right.
You, sir, are officially a grandpa.
Yeah.
With your chain, though. I love the chain. You got this big old chain and clip-on sunglasses.
That's right.
This is Gen X at its peak.
I'm peak Gen X right now. Look,
Yeah.
I've been wanting sunglasses that had my prescription, but I'm not paying the extra price.
Sure.
Because I'm cheap.
Yeah.
And these were $14.
Well,
and
definitely a lot cheaper than prescription sunglasses.
Look how good they fit, though. I mean, you didn't even know it.
No, I didn't, man. I didn't. I'll be honest. Yeah, you got it clipped on there. Good. Come on. Don't go. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Full Metal Grandpa.
Full Metal Grandpa.
I love it, dude. I love it. You're right. I couldn't tell that those were your normal eyeglasses, and I see you in your normal eyeglasses quite a bit.
Yeah, these are my Oakleys.
How about that, dude?
Yeah.
How about that? Yeah, I can dig it. I'm not there yet, but I see where you're coming from.
You'll get there. Chloe started walking.
Oh man, took her first steps. What did she walk after? I've learned that children are normally going after something when they take their first steps. Was there something she was going after?
I don't know. The video that I saw, she was like.
Okay. So maybe not even were those her very first steps?
Yeah.
Or was those the first caught on camera?
I think, I'm not sure because see, she was pushing a basket around like a walker. Saturday afternoon. And then by Saturday night, she was like, figured it out.
Yeah. My kids were interesting. Funny enough, I think it was Lana who first crawled for coffee, if I remember right.
For coffee?
Yeah, she was going for her mom's iced coffee.
Okay.
Her mom's iced coffee was sitting on the floor, and Lana just took off after it.
Awesome. Did they drink iced coffees early?
We've let them have little sips of it here and there.
Sierra was okay. So when I met Sierra, she was 4.
Mm-hmm.
And she had to have an iced coffee before bed.
Had to. And
they would take just a little bit of coffee and some milk, and that would be her iced coffee before bed.
Interesting.
Yep.
I've been thinking about trying to get Liam to drink a little bit of coffee. I think it would help. You know what I mean? I think it just a little bit of that caffeine.
Yeah.
Focus. Middle school's a little bit harder. He's getting there. I'm like, just a little bit in the morning.
I think it would. So you worked all weekend.
Oh, dude, I was working on cars all weekend. It was rough. I didn't have a weekend for me this weekend, that's for sure. Although last night, Chef Drew did cook up some open flame food.
Oh, did he now?
We had some bratwurst. We had some chicken thighs, bone-in chicken thighs.
Ooh.
We had, what else we had? Pulled pork, of course. We had scallops. We had corn on the cob. We had to shuck it. You know what I'm saying? It was all open flame grilling. So it was really good.
Well, that's cool. I'm glad he cooked for you. Did he use the grill with the crank on it?
No. He actually used this different mechanism that is technically for like a whole hog roast. He's got this contraption, this like metal folding contraption that
Okay.
kind of folds down, and it's got a place like a rack, and then
Okay.
it's got a pit, a custom made pit down below it, steel, and for your open flame.
Okay.
And
I
so,
haven't seen that one yet.
yeah, it's a really neat contraption that he was cooking on. Now, obviously, he wasn't using the mechanism for the whole hog or anything, but he was still using that pit and just cooking over it, just straight up open flame. And it was great, man. It was great. The scallops were perfect. Everything was
Oh,
great.
y'all had scallops?
Yeah, scallops, dude.
Oh,
Man, open flame grilled scallops.
man.
Telling you, brother. The big honkers too, not them little tiny ones.
That sounds so good.
Yeah.
So,
shout out to Chef Drew for cooking.
Shout out to Chef Drew.
Yeah, that was a great Labor Day meal, man.
Did he record any of it
I
for
don't
his
know.
channel?
I don't think so. I think this was just for like family and close friends. There was a few other people there,
Okay.
and we all just chowed down, man. We all chowed down.
He's got to record. He's got to put some of that stuff out too, just to like drewing around, you know.
I thought about recording some of it myself, because I was thinking, I was like, man, look at this. Like I'm looking at this display of meat out all over this open flame. There was bratwurst, chicken, and I mean, all of it just displayed out on this open flame. I'm like, man, where else do you get this experience?
I've got chicken on the trigger as we speak.
Oh yeah, is that what you're having for lunch this week, or is that dinner?
Lunch at work, yeah.
Ah, gotcha.
To go with my salad.
Dude, we got to get on to this football wrap up, man.
Dun, 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 dun. Roll the music. The Bulldogs won.
Bulldogs won, of course. We all knew it. They were going to put Clemson in their place. Dabo is about to get thrown out.
Dabo, there's people in Florida wanting Dabo.
Yeah.
After that game. So
yeah.
Let's just hit it hard right quick. Florida lost.
Florida lost.
Tech won, but they played Georgia State.
Yeah.
Who else? Notre Dame beat Texas A&M.
Yes, they did. That was a rough game. I did watch like the first 3 quarters. I guess I watched about 3 quarters, the first 3 quarters of that game. I didn't watch the only good part, which was the end.
So I had like 12 hours of football on.
Oh
Saturday.
my gosh.
We had the Georgia game on in the shop while we were working, and then come back and watched Miami decimate Florida.
Wow.
And then watched that Texas A&M Notre Dame game. It was a decent game.
I didn't enjoy nobody could get anything going. You know what I mean? It was tough. And I guess that's a game of defense, right? But it was it seemed like it was more of the offense. Offense is really struggling to get anything going. I mean, look, Florida lost big too. It was 41-17, by the way. That's huge to Miami.
Dude, Miami's strong this year. They looked good.
Yeah. Alabama blew out their opponent, of course. Most of these SEC teams.
Yeah.
Like Texas blew out Colorado State. Iowa blew out Illinois State. Penn State had a game against West Virginia, which was I saw some of the highlights. It was 34-12. Penn State won. Yeah, Oklahoma blew out Temple. Like, it was just a bunch of first week games, you know?
Yes, it was. Now, this week's schedule is like Georgia's game is going to be Tennessee Tech.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not going to be like make you want to get excited about it.
No.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, LSU lost too. I wanted to mention that. LSU number 13, LSU lost to USC.
Yes.
Now, and then at number 10, Florida State lost.
Yeah.
Again.
You mean the 0-2 Florida State team now?
Yeah, the 0-2 Seminoles.
look, Georgia broke them. They broke their spirit. You know how you know how in the Water Boy,
Yeah.
Coach Klein?
Yeah.
You know, Coach Klein lost his mojo or whatever it was. He lost to that other coach. That other coach is Kirby. Yeah, come back. So, I mean, come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. At home. The
Boston
score,
College.
the freaking Boston College beat y'all. Look, there's room left. If you want to come be a Georgia fan, and I'm talking to you, Coop. We've got room. We are loving here.
That's right.
We don't hate. We understand. I myself am a reformed Georgia Tech fan. There's things that happen in people's lives that make them want to change. If you want to come to the red and black.
Yeah. And if you want to watch good football,
yeah,
come to the SEC. Get out of the ACC.
Yes. Yes. You don't have to fill out an application. You know.
No.
The arms of the SEC is open.
You'll see when there's like 6 SEC teams in the playoffs this year.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's going to – I mean, if it wasn't noticeable before during the 4-team playoff when at least half of it was always SEC, like if that wasn't obvious enough, at least half of it's going to be SEC come the 12-team playoff too.
Yeah, nothing's changing.
Nope.
Nothing is changing anytime soon.
SEC is king.
One game to watch coming up next Saturday be the 12 o'clock game. Will be number 4 Texas versus number 9 Michigan.
That will be a game to watch, man. I want to see what Michigan can do coming off the heels of the national championship.
Yeah, so that's going to be a good game. Now, your later in the day games to watch the 7 o'clock start times, dude. It's still a bunch of stuff that's just there. We haven't got into the meat and grit of the season yet.
Nope. And you haven't had, players get hurt. You haven't had teams change. You know what I mean? Like generally by the middle of the season, the teams look a lot different.
Yeah. So the best game to watch next week or this coming up week is going to be Texas and at Michigan. Or wait. Is it Texas at Michigan? Hold on, I gotta go back to it.
Yes, it'll be at Michigan.
Yeah. Who you got?
Dude, we just got done talking about, Texas is in the SEC this year, right?
Correct.
Oh, dude, I'm going SEC then.
You going SEC?
I'm going SEC.
That's gonna be such a good game.
Yeah.
I will probably be at the racetrack all day, so I'll have to try to figure out a way to watch it. But yeah, that's the football wrap up. We had another
Sonoya this weekend.
Do what now?
Are you guys racing at Sonoya this weekend? You mentioned you'd be at the track.
No, we are racing. If we get the car done, we're racing at Penton, Alabama. Okay. But the NASCAR race is in Atlanta this weekend, and Charlie's got Speed U stuff going on up there.
Gotcha.
So, yeah,
action packed.
Gonna be a long freaking weekend.
Turtle Man.
Yeah. But, all right. Let's get back to them notes because I don't even know what we're talking about.
I think we can take an ad break at this point.
Can we take an ad break?
Yeah, let's take an ad break real quick.
Let's take an ad break.
All right.
Thanks for sticking with us through this ad break, guys. I'm here to tell you about one of our sponsors, Eileen Ayers with Bush Realty. You can check her out at movingcoweta.com for all of your real estate needs in the metro Atlanta area. That's movingcoweta.com. Eileen Ayers with Bush Realty. Now back to the show.
All right, and we're back. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed that ad break.
Yeah, quick and simple.
Yeah, quick and simple. So, The Starliner is returning Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Boeing Starliner is returning Saturday.
Yes, the spacecraft that took the 2 astronauts up to the space station for their supposed to be 8-day journey, I think, which is now looking like it's going to be an 8-month journey or something like that.
Well, you know, Gilligan was only supposed to be on a 3-hour tour.
There you go. It's Gilligan's boat right there. That's the boat they were on. Yeah, they're supposed to be sending that spacecraft back to Earth on Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's really fascinating. They had this weird sound just start coming through the speakers. Did you hear about this?
Yes. What do you
So
think
this was really weird sounding because when I heard it, I'm like, that sounds like an underwater type sonar ping to me. Like it sounds like what we would use for sonar detecting, right?
Right.
But it apparently the scientists at NASA are explaining it as feedback.
It's always feedback.
Yeah, it was feedback between the ISS and the Starliner itself, just coming, like an amplifier feedback, just coming through the speakers.
Yeah. Okay.
So what do you think? Did you hear that noise?
I heard the noise. We work with mechanical things.
Yeah.
And as mechanical things heat up and cool off and things happen to them, they make noises. Anyway, Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking about them being up there and that the different countries have different modules. And so the food isn't really an issue. But my biggest thing is the boredom.
The boredom.
Yes. I mean,
what are these people going to do?
Right. Everybody already up there has already got a job.
Right.
And you're showing up. You know how, like, when somebody comes to work, like you're working, you've worked in shops before.
Oh, yeah.
You know how you got the people that come up and hang out at a shop?
Yep. And just take you away from your work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there talking, they're doing their thing.
They're more annoying than anything.
Sitting there eating your snack. Oh, you got some crackers over there? Let me get one of the crackers.
No. Oh, your parts people brought you donuts this morning?
Yeah, and they're eating your parts people donuts.
No.
Yeah.
Them people. Yes, I know who you're talking about.
So that's how they are.
Some of your record drivers are like that?
Yeah, the record driver that won't quit telling you stories.
Some of your parts delivery men are like that.
Yeah. Speaking of parts delivery, man, in that TV show Tires.
Yes.
They nailed that character.
Yeah.
They nailed that character to the wall, dude. That was the best perception of a or a parts guy.
Yeah.
That there has ever been.
Yeah. Yeah. And shout out again to the Netflix series Tires. If anybody listening to this podcast has not watched Tires yet on Netflix, you have to. It's a must watch. It's hilarious.
It's the best. It's the best. Yeah. Charlie, I think Charlie's watched it 4 times.
It's so good, dude.
I walk in and I'm like, "Are you watching Tires again?" He's like, "Yeah."
I wish they made that down here.
Dude, Redneck Mechanics.
We would do it, wouldn't we? We could be the other guys at the shop.
We could be the other guys at the shop
because we are mechanics.
I would love to be an extra in that show,
right? Just working on a car, throwing wrenches.
Yeah.
Well, you don't. I would throw the wrenches.
I haven't thrown a wrench in a long time, John.
Yeah, I would throw the wrenches. I'd throw my creeper.
I haven't thrown things. I've Gruswaba.
Yeah. But you're 10 years older than me, roughly. So
I've found some kind of Zen-like feel to my mechanicking right now.
I hope I get there in my 40s.
I think you will. Because I used to throw wrenches.
Yeah.
I think that's something that happens when you get older.
Yeah.
as a mechanic. You realize you can't change nothing. You just fix it.
Yeah, you can just fix it. Well, that's something my grandfather, that's part of why I started mechanicking. My grandfather used to always tell me when he'd be working on something, he'd be like, "It's already broke, son. The worst I can do is fix it."
That's right. The worst I could do is fix it. So
Yeah, interesting stuff right there. Dude, you sent me a really funny story over the weekend that I really enjoyed reading. Just a quick little article on a potential squatch sighting in Georgia.
the potential Scotch. Would you like for me to talk about it, or do you want to
Yeah.
tell the people?
Go right ahead, please. You tell it.
Okay, so there has been a Sasquatch sighting in Fort Valley, Georgia, near the Bluebird bus plant.
Yeah, and you're excited about it.
I'm very excited about it. Now, we've had our own theories on what it could be.
Yeah.
It could be a real Sasquatch.
Could
now,
be.
Mary Beth's boss is a squatcher. He is a believer.
Really?
In squatches. Yes, he follows people on Facebook about squatches.
So is he going to go out there to Fort Valley? Is he that kind of guy?
I don't know if he's going to go down there.
Uh-huh.
But she did say he had a guy in his chair that was another Sasquatch believer.
Oh, wow. I bet that was a sight to behold.
Yeah, so they were talking about it, and they were real excited about that story. Now, you feel that it could be a situation like a person the size of the character in the Green Mile.
I think that's a real possibility.
And it was just a dude walking across the street, a tall dude walking across the street.
I think that's more likely.
I believe they have gotten some prints, though.
Okay.
Now, in the article I sent you,
that
screenshot, I sent you that screenshot, right?
Yes.
So apparently they're building a Jack Links plant down there.
I saw that.
And people think that it may be some kind of thing to promote that.
Of course it probably is. But they were thinking like someone in the commercial Sasquatch outfit, right? For the commercials.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know if it was that kind of prank or if it was just like, somebody made the story up to promote the fact that they opened a Jack Link's jerky factory down there.
Now, why would we need to promote that?
I don't know. Maybe they want people to come help.
Maybe they got Sasquatches working there.
Dude.
They got to work. What? We're fixing to screw up Sasquatches.
Chuck, one of my biggest issues with the Sasquatch being a real life being like we are is that we don't find dead ones. We've never found the remains.
Well,
supposedly never found the remains of any Bigfoot.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That can be explained, but okay.
But that's been one of my issues, right? Like we find the remains of everything else. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All these hunters that spend time in the woods, all these people, like I feel like we'd find some kind of skull, toe, something. You know what I mean? Eventually.
Yeah. Eventually.
But if they're all slave factory workers, and we get the occasional escapee,
yes,
that we're sighting, then there wouldn't be many bodies out there.
They wouldn't. Now, because they don't want people to know they're using them.
Right.
So
now, what kind of technology do you have to enslave Sasquatch, though? A bunch of Sasquatch.
I think it's like one of those neck collars.
Yeah. like a shock collar.
No, like the one that they put on the mutants in. Yeah, that way it takes away their Sasquatch powers. Yeah.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's how they're doing it. What is that? Meat and Jack Links?
Is that the meat in Jack Link's, dude?
It tastes different than cow. You know, Jack Links taste so different.
They pride themselves very much on being different. And does that make Sasquatch a cannibal? Because in their commercials, he's going after their jerky, right?
Well, obviously, that Sasquatch is a guy in a suit. Maybe he's not going after the jerky to eat it. Maybe he's going after it to collect the remains of his friend Bob.
Oh my gosh. That's why he wants the jerky so bad.
Yeah.
That's Bob. That's his buddy Bob.
That's Bob the Sasquatch.
And then you got Darren over there in that other bag.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we're just drying out Sasquatches and eating them.
We're not. Jack Links is.
I eat Jack. When's the last time you bought another brand of jerky other than Jack Links?
Ooh, it's been a little while. I may have bought some of those Obertos not that long ago.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
They're using Irish people.
Dude, Jack Link's jerky is using Sasquatch for their meat.
I know you got the conspiracy this week, but I want to just let you in on a little something that I heard.
Okay.
Saw a TikTok.
Okay.
And these people, it could be Garth Brooks fans getting back at Tom Segura, but it's Japanese, you know.
Yeah.
But there's a theory that he's the Rainy Street Ripper.
That Garth is or Tom is?
Tom is.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then they got all these clips like where he's talking about just pushing people in the river and killing them.
Yeah, because Tom has that sick sense of humor.
Yeah. And that's why.
Yeah.
He's projecting this onto Garth to take the heat off of him.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Ooh, I kind of like that. I'm going to have to look into that one, man.
Yeah, I hope he sees it because he'll talk about it.
Oh, for sure. He'll address it. He'll address it. I might finally listen to another Two Bears if he does.
Yeah. So anyway, bring us the real conspiracy.
All right. So on the conspiracy corner this week, we've been talking about Sasquatches.
Yes.
And we talked about Native American mounds earlier.
Yes.
There is some belief that the Native American mound builders were of a giant race.
Ooh, I like
that. And there is also conspiracies that a lot of giant skeletal remains were found during the settlement of the Americas and the farming of Americas and things like that. Potential explanation for a Bigfoot sighting. Am I wrong? Like, imagine you saw some dude who's lived his whole life in the wilderness who's like 8 feet tall.
Right.
Right? That would look like a Sasquatch probably. What do you think, man? What do you think? Do you think there were giants in America?
Yes.
Do you think that has anything to do with the Nephilim, if you want to go that far?
I mean, we've never personally seen a Nephilim.
Mm-hmm.
So how could we say that they're not big hairy creatures?
Sure. Okay, there's that. Yeah, I mean, they're described as barbaric and all kinds of stuff in the biblical text. So
yeah, now they're just out there in the woods.
Yeah,
that might explain why you don't find any bones. Can you know? Yeah.
Do you think there were giants in America? Do you think people actually unearthed giant remains when they were farming America to begin with? And especially some in these Native American mounds, that's been one of the big things, right? Is like when they dig into some of these burial mounds, they find 8, 9, 10 foot tall skeletons.
Yeah.
Do you think that's possible?
Yeah.
You think those were real? You think they really found some of those?
I think they're real, just like the mammoth bones that they're finding out in Alaska and try to turn them into a Smithsonian and they don't line up with the history that they want it to line up with, so they just get rid of it.
Right. I agree, man. I think there were definitely some humongous people here. Now, whether you call them giants, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think
Well,
some areas just have genetic abnormalities, right?
David killed a giant.
David did kill a giant. I'm not saying there weren't giants ever. I'm just saying I don't know that we were uncovering quote unquote giants during the settlement of America. Maybe those were just really, maybe it was a shack every once in a while. You know what I mean? Maybe a Shaquille O'Neal was born in ancient times every once in a while.
Maybe Shaq was in Fort Valley the other day.
Maybe that's all someone saw.
I mean, you know, he lives in McDonough.
Yeah.
So he could have been in Fort Valley. It's not that far. It's only about an hour on the interstate.
So we've exposed Bush's baked beans and Jack Link's jerky on this podcast.
Look, man, corporate America is going to come for us
Eventually
for exposing where they get their meat.
Yep.
I had a guy at work the other day that discovered our podcast. And he said, man, I think you're right about that monkey meat.
About the bush meat?
Yeah.
Smuggling the bush meat from over there, dude.
Yeah. He goes, I think you're right.
The food's cheap for a reason. How does it get that cheap?
I don't know. And then
how do they make it that cheap?
The guy I was like, oh crap, he really might believe this. And then I felt bad about it. And then he might listen to this, but he might listen to this and he might not realize I'm talking about him.
Yeah, you never know.
So
you never know. You got a meme for me this week, dude?
I do. I have the meme. The meme.
I like that.
I already had shared it on my Facebook this morning. So it had gotten some traction pretty quick. So I decided to send it to you. Okay,
here we go. Breaking news. The Florida rivalry game has locked down the 8 a.m. Nickelodeon time slot on November 30th. That is hilarious. Yeah. Florida State versus Florida. No one cares about that now. Dude, do you know how brutal that game's going to be? Ugh. It's going to be like watching two middle school teams.
It's going to be 6-6 forever. Forever.
If it gets there.
If they get within field goal range.
If they can manage to get within field goal range.
It could be one of the highest scoring games that we've seen all year.
That's a great meme, man. That's a great meme. I love it. Thank you, Chucker.
There is room. I'll even buy you your first hat.
Come on, Florida State fans. The unconquered tribe.
I bet they wish they had some giants right now.
Yeah, I bet they do. I bet they do. Hey, thank you for a good show, man. That's episode 160 in the books, Chucker.
Yeah, go check out Pushing Like a Dump Truck.
Yep.
With Charlie Oxenford.
That's right.
The Eating Chambers with Drew. The Possumwood Studios is growing.
That's right. Check us out.
So we'll holler at you next time.
Appreciate it, Nightshifters.
See ya.